So there is a controversy now over some statements that Senator Lindsey Graham made when meeting with Ukrainian President Zelensky. In the same conversation, Lindsey Graham stated that U.S. monies are being well spent on arming Ukraine. And in the same conversation, he said at one point, smiling, Russians are dying. He seemed to take glee in the fact that Russians are dying. And of course, some interpreted when you looked at the whole conversation as he basically saying that U.S. monies are being well spent in Ukraine because Russians are dying. And I actually think in the end it's a fair interpretation because that really is, it seems to me one of the goals of the U.S. war in Ukraine, and it really is a proxy war in Ukraine against Russia and frankly against Russians. In fact, there was a story not long ago, a little more than a year ago, that the CIA was training fighters in Ukraine, and according to some of these people trained, they were being trained to kill Russians. So I don't think it's a stretch to interpret Lindsey Graham's statement that we are paying to kill Russians. And in fact, again, it reminds me really of the U.S. policy in Afghanistan in the mid-'70s and into the '80s, which was, as Brzezinski, the national security advisor of Carter, admitted, the whole goal of arming the Mujahideen in Afghanistan was to draw the Soviet Union into a war there, into its own Vietnam, right, into a destructive war that would undermine and possibly destroy the Soviet Union. And that's really the goal in Ukraine, which Brzezinski would later explain in his book, The Grand Chessboard, that we wanted to draw Russia in to Ukraine also to weaken and destroy it. So I think that really is the goal here. I think it is an unjustifiable goal. I think it's something that Americans need to push back on. That is not what we're being told, by the press that this war is truly about, or by the White House. But I think when you hear statements like Lindsey Graham make, you start to see the real reasons for this war.